Okay, this is our third video, and as you can see here, I have a whole bunch of pill bottles, medication. So in this video, I got my notes here. I'm going to go over some of that. First of all, I have pretty good insurance on retired military. I have TRICARE, which is now TriWest. For the most part, a lot of these prescriptions were only 80 some cents or $1.25. However, there were a couple that were more expensive than that. So total for everything here, it was about $100 for the copay. And again, the PA that I saw on the pre-op appointment about a week prior, she put in for all those, and they were ready that day. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. And I just picked them up from the local. We have like a Albertsons grocery store with a Long, or I think it's Long's Drugs or something like that inside of it. And that's where I had it, and everything was easily fillable. I do want to get into these two things first. Okay, so one of the appointments that I had after I had met with my surgeon, this is before the pre-op, this is probably a week after I met with her, they had me do a lab where they did 2 vials of blood that they pulled, and then they also did a nasal swab. And I will probably get this wrong, but my understanding on the nasal swab is that people can be a natural or a carrier of like staph infections, or the bacteria that cause staph infections. So the reason they do the nasal swab is to see if you're a carrier of it. It doesn't mean you have a staph infection. It just means that you have that bacteria. So the point is you're more susceptible to having an infection when you have a surgery. So that's one of the things they check for. Well, it turns out I was positive for that. So, I'm sorry if that's gross. There was nothing, I'm not sick, nothing like that at all. And she said, you're not a dirty person. It doesn't mean anything like that. It just means that for whatever reason, you're not infected with it, but you're carrying it. So they gave me some antibiotic pills. I've already used those, so I don't have those in front of me. I think it was called Bactrin or something like that. And I had to take that for, I think it was 5 to 7 days. And then they gave me this soap. This soap should be something that you'll probably use leading up to the surgery. I just don't know if you'll have to use it as much as I did. So it's from the neck down. I bought, this is just like a wand with a soft bristle brush here, and then the poof on this side. This was good because I was in enough back pain leading up to this. Is not after surgery. This is before. That it was, being able to get your back where you're doing the surgery. You need to make sure you can really scrub that. So the story with this stuff is that you have to have it on for 10 minutes before you wash it off. So basically what I did is I just got in a shower, got my body wet, I turned off the water, and I just poured this on the bristle, put it all over, and then I sat there or waited for 10 minutes, and I just kept putting more and more soap on. I've probably only used about this much. A little goes a long way. It's like a gel type of consistency, and it creates a lot of suds, so it's good. And it's a really good soap. I feel like that was the most sterile or clean I've ever been. So anyway, that was 5 days leading up to it. This ointment, this was something that, because of the nasal swab, they wanted me to do. And again, this was 5 days leading up to it. So what I do is I just get a Q-tip, and it's like a cream, a clear like gel cream, and I just use the Q-tip. I just rub around my nostrils, and I did that twice a day. So once in the morning and one time before bed. And again, that was about a week leading up to the surgery. So the whole point of that is to prevent any type of infection, and I guess I was more likely to have a staph infection. So anyway, again, I know it's probably gross, and my wife's like, oh, you probably shouldn't mention that, but But again, that's the whole point of this, is I wanted to be thorough. Okay, let's see, what else do we have here? The ointment, I can't ever say it, Tylenol. Here, so they gave me how do you say it? Acetaminophen. I can't say it right. 500 milligrams. So I'm supposed to take 2 of these every 6 hours. And that began as soon as I got home. So yesterday around 12:31-ish, I took 2 of these, and then I'll get to the next one. But basically, that's just Tylenol. Tramadol. Okay, that's this one here. This is 50 milligrams, and it's a fairly small pill. Little bit of confusion, and that's why I wanted to make a video on the prescriptions. On my sheet that I had given with instructions, it talked about a muscle relaxer. And, you know, I had the acetaminophen, the Tylenol, I had this tramadol. I'll get to the others, but I have a stool softener, the oxycodone, and an antibiotic. So, you know, I didn't go researching all of these. So I assumed that the tramadol was a muscle relaxer, because I don't take meds ever. Like, I'm never sick or injured or anything like that. So I had no reason to believe it wasn't. And that's important, because following the surgery, the anesthesiologist, he had, you know, spent some time with me and said, look, when you get home, I don't want you taking any of the pain meds. You can take the Tylenol, that's fine, but don't take any of the pain meds. And my doctor, the surgeon, prior to the surgery, she had said, take 2 of the tramadol and take 2 of the acetaminophen right when you get home. And so I was assuming that the tramadol was a muscle relaxer, and you know, I don't know what the danger was, and so I immediately took it, and I didn't have any bad effects. In fact, both of those together had me feeling great, you know, managed the pain very well. After the fact, I researched it and found, oh, that's a pretty strong painkiller. So I was going against the doctor's orders, but it wasn't intentional. So anyway, my whole point is don't be like me and be a dummy. You know, take the time to Google each of your prescriptions and really make sure that that you're able to follow the doctor's order if they say no pain meds. So anyway, that's these 2. So the acetaminophen and the tramadol, 2 of these every 6 hours, and I take them together. This is a stool softener, so when you take pain meds, my understanding is that it will cause constipation, and so the stool softener just prevents that. And I started taking this right when I got home yesterday, so 2 and 2 and 1. You take 2 pills a day, small red pill, and let's see, milligram wise, it doesn't make any sense. It's 50-8.6, so I don't know what that means. But anyway, I take 1 in the morning, 1 at night. Next one, this one I've already finished up. They only gave me a 2-day supply. This was Cephalexin, 500 milligram tablets, and this is an antibiotic. Again, I don't know if that's standard or if that's because I had that whole nasal swab positive for a potential staph infection, and they were trying to make sure that I didn't get an infection. But that's my understanding of this. It's an antibiotic to help prevent infection. So I don't know if you, a normal person that doesn't have that, would get this or not. And then second to the last one, it's a lot here, is the oxycodone. So it's 5 milligrams, pretty small little capsule. And yesterday, again, day one after surgery. So I didn't take this for the 24 hours, but after day one, after I hit the 24-hour mark, I did take one, and it absolutely had no effect at all. My pain level by bedtime was probably about a 5, but only when I touched it. Once I was either in bed or sitting in a chair, I was fine. But it's important to note that that the pain level didn't go down when I took that one. So at night at 9:30, I took 2, and that was the trick, because I had woke up a couple times during the night, used the restroom, and immediately felt like, oh, this is way better than I felt, in the evening when I was getting ready to go to sleep. So this definitely did its job. One other one that I wanted to bring up was this box, and let me get it is called naloxone. I don't know. It's Narcan. It's just a fancy word for Narcan, and it is Narcan. It's got these little 2 nasal things here, and first of all, my doctor didn't prescribe this. My assumption is that both the tramadol and the oxy are both opioids or narcotics, and this is specifically for an overdose. So I assume that is the policy of the pharmacy that issues these, that when they give you this, they have to give you that. I bring that up because this was like $40. And it all adds up. And even my wife was saying, like, she's always amazed at how cheap our pills are. Because, her previous insurance, she said all those prescriptions would have cost me like $300. So, even though it's only, you paid $100 and it seems like a lot, that's not for everything you got. But this was like 40 of it. And like I said, the doctor didn't call for that. So anyway, I know it's been kind of lengthy. That's everything, including the ointment and the body wash. The last thing I'll say is this. I know I'm only 2 days in, but most people agreed that they were probably in the most pain the second day or the end of the first day. And those same people, when I watched the videos, all of them were saying, well, I'm not taking any narcotics. They were basically refusing to, and I'm not going to judge them. That's on them. For me, I'm following my doctor's recommendations. I trust her. And if she says, take these meds, that's what I'm going to do. And my pain levels have been very manageable. I've been very happy with how I've felt. I would say my expectations were I would have a pain level like here, and they're way down here. So if you're worried about pain, I would say, talk to your doctor, make sure that, they give you the pain medication that's going to work for you. And, if you're not comfortable with, taking a narcotic, that's your choice, but you might want to talk to them and see if there's something else that they can give you. Because I'm a firm believer that this is great. I feel wonderful. And I'm not going to be one of those people that says, oh, I'm not taking narcotics. I will absolutely take narcotics. More the better. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for sticking with me.